You can have someone you can have someone who has a great deal of knowledge and experience training well. However, the key is if you're going to be successful at training, you have to have structure in the training and not winging it.
Mhm. Yeah, like teachers, they have to write a lesson plan, and that's why Scott's always teasing me. Scott King here is always teasing me about writing out my speech for Hypno Thoughts, because one year I winged it and it was like, oh, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
So now, even if I don't do what even if I don't cover everything in my talk that I wrote down, I try to at least put like a 10-point bulletin, what I'm going to talk about, and have a little bit of structure for it. Because, yeah, I think people learn that way. Mm-hmm. And some people learn experientially. When Alan's teaching me to do video editing, and I'm like, okay, you got to show me the steps. Okay, now you got to show me the steps again. Okay, now you got to show me the steps again because you forgot which step was number 3, and you didn't tell me, and now I messed up and I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost.
Yeah, and
so all right.
It can be difficult when you have students who were brought up through, at least I know the American educational system, where questioning what was going on was not exactly looked upon positively. And you'll have students that aren't, they're not comfortable saying, hey, I don't understand this, because they've been conditioned over years of study that you don't do that, and a lot of times a teacher doesn't explain it clearly enough because they've been doing it so long. They've got that unconscious competence going on, but they haven't moved into conscious competence,
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why whenever someone pops me up and they're offering like their free hypnosis training, I go and do it. And people are like, why do you do that? And I said, because I don't know what I don't know. I don't remember. I know so many things that now, like, for me to teach this, it works for me because I know the steps and I'm doing them unconsciously.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the steps. So to put names to it again, to put definitions to it again.
I think that's one of the reasons why David Snyder is such a popular trainer, because he has a really good knack for moving things into that conscious competence place. Like I've taken trainings with David that I know he learned from X, Y, or Z person, and David teaches it better.
Yeah, he is a sponge.
Yeah, he's a teacher. He's really good at teaching stuff and breaking it down so that people understand it and can execute on it.
And he gives resources. He'll say, oh, you should read this book. He'll just throw it out there. You should read this book. You should read this book by this author. You should read this book by this author. It's, instead of saying, well, I'll just look it up.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. You leave your job and now you're flying around in private jets. Do I have that right?
Nice. That's the path right there.
And roll.
That's the path right there.
That's the path of rock and roll.
Is that where you've been doing your Zoom interviews from? Like, that's a power move right there.
Oh yeah, that's totally baller.
Yeah. You're doing Zoom interviews for new positions from your private jet. Yeah, that's a power move right there.
Well, I'm in the lounge. Is that close? I'm getting closer.
Hey, that's close to a jet, right? I think you probably spend more time in airports and on planes than anyone else I personally know, like on this level,
Yeah, maybe. It's possible, but it's all Alan. He's my travel agent.
He's your travel agent, huh? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Well, speaking of which, Alan, you choose the rental cars.
So, Bob, how much wine did you imbibe on your family gathering that you were worried about imbibing too much wine on and being a little sloppy when you got here?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. You can't fake it very well.
I'm fine.
You need Gatorade?
Yeah. No, I didn't have that much. We ended up not going to dinner, so I just had some wine at home. So I just had a glass and enjoyed it and took a little nap, and then here I am.
You said it was a granddaughter's birthday or something, right?
No. It was just that we had to take my granddaughter to field hockey, but she was too sick, so she couldn't go to field hockey.
Okay.
So we took a trip and then we came back home.
Nice.
So yeah, I came home and had a glass. I usually have 2 glasses of wine a month and I enjoy it. So
Month.
yeah, that's
Good
my
evening.
drinking. That's my drinking habit.
Good evening, Natasha. My drinking habit pretty much sits around. I have poker twice a month with my brother, and my brother's like, "Here, try this. Here, try this. Here, try this." And usually I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right. I'm not a big fan of alcohol." Last night he was like, "Here, try this. It's like a straight up pina colada," and I'm like, "You serious? Because that's my drink, bro." Like,
Yeah.
I took a drink of it, and I'm like, "You nailed it. Make me one."
Pina coladas are really good.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
How are you this evening, Natasha?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's been a while. I did
Yes.
log on at like 12 o'clock and then realised I were an hour early, so it's now 1:10 in the morning, but I came to say hi.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
So Natasha's the only one who's heard this story because I didn't
Okay.
actually expect her to be here. So Friday night show I did, it was the Navy show.
Yes.
I had one of the proudest moments of my life. And
Ooh.
understand that as a hypnotist, I've had people who credit me for them now making 7 figures a year, credit me for actually getting married, for for still being alive even. However, this is the one that I'm truly the most proud of. This is how sick and twisted I am. So when I do my fart routine, I do it differently than, shockingly, everybody else I know.
That is a shock.
I give half the volunteers a suggestion that whenever they hear the sound effect, that they will realize that the person right next to them just ripped one. And they have been imbibing Taco Bell very, very heavily. How do you translate Taco Bell farts into British, Natasha?
They
We
probably
don't have Taco Bell here.
Yeah, they're not that backwards,
great.
Colin.
Awesome. Okay, so that's half the volunteers. The other half of the volunteers, I give the suggestion that whenever you hear this sound effect, you're gonna realize that you did just rip one, and you're really proud of it, and you think it's hilarious, and you want everybody to know it was you. Meanwhile, the other people are disgusted, upset, not happy, pointing fingers, all kinds of stuff. All right. So I haven't played this sound effect for a little while. It's about 3/4 of the way through the show. And volunteer A woman, looks at volunteer B, also a woman, gives her a really angry, disgusted look, shakes her head like this, stands up and walks off the stage. Now, I know there's something going on, but I don't want to, get in the middle of whatever it is, because I don't know what it is. All right. Shortly after that, I bring volunteer B up to me to do a one-on-one routine. At which point I realized exactly why volunteer A got up and left, because volunteer B took my suggestion literally. And she was dropping some absolutely nuclear, high volume, very, very toxic farts. She was crop dusting the place like crazy. Now, I'm sorry, that wasn't the intention of the suggestion, but if it's going to go that far,
Get it.
good day at the office.
Wow.
That's
The thing
awesome.
is, he sent me that on a voice note earlier, and I listened to it
Oh
with
my
my 4-year-old son at side of me, and now my 4-year-old son's favourite saying is toxic farts. That's all
I'm
he keeps
glad
repeating
I
to me
can be a
now.
positive male role model for him.
Yep. That's great. That's great.
we actually had a pregnant lady get up and leave the stage when we did the you have to go to the bathroom. But
Yeah.
she literally raised her hand and she was like, I gotta go.
So I did 5 shows this weekend, 4 last night, which my voice is just barely getting back to being okay.
Did you do 5 shows this weekend?
I did 1 on Friday night and I
Yeah.
did 4 last night.
You
They
did
were
4 shows last night
4 shows
for the
last
same
night.
client.
This was the National Reconnaissance Office.
You
Oh,
did
they
4
split it into
shows
4.
for that one deal.
Yep.
Dang. I hope they
Awesome.
paid you for 4 shows.
They did. No, I'm happy. I'm happy. My voice isn't happy. My ass being kicked isn't happy, but I'm happy.
You know, since you brought it up, like what do you do for voice care? You know, is it just a couple of hot toddies, or do you go into more?
My planning on this one was not exactly what it usually is.
Okay.
I use Delsum cough syrup pre-show but I forgot it.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but it was 4 shows.
Do you keep water on stage?
I'm sorry?
Do you keep water on stage with you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, good.
Each show was 45 minutes long. We had 15 minutes to get the 450 people out of the theater and another 450 people back into the theater, during which a bunch of them leaving are coming up and talking to me, asking me questions. Show number 1, the director was there and he absolutely loved it. He's like, listen, Colin, when you started that fart stuff, my wife leans over to me, shakes her head, says, yeah, that's really mature. But by the time the show was over with, she was laughing harder than I was at that stuff. That was awesome. And so, you know, presidential appointee likes your stuff. That's not too bad.
You know, a good fart joke never goes unsmelt.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, and then after the show, they were grilling me like they had me in Guantanamo Bay for an hour. So I ended up talking nonstop for 5 freaking hours.
Yeah.
I got to give, based on everything that happened this weekend, I've got to give Lisa credit for her suggestion that I throw my t-shirts over the top of the chairs.
Awesome.
That was a huge game changer beyond anything else. It looked good. And it just, yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you, Lisa. And I took Bob's, what I call his number 10 induction. And I did some derivative stuff with that, applied it to what I think makes sense for performing hypnosis, where it's combining that with some fractionation and also some instant inductions at the same time. And it absolutely killed. Instead of somewhere between 30 and 50% of my volunteers going under and deep, with the 5 shows this weekend, it was all between 80 and 90%.
That is awesome.
I had the best 3 shows I've had so far. And I emphasize so far because, and I've gotten criticism on this point from some fairly, somewhat notable people. I am crystal clear that I don't have it all figured out. That's why I'm here. I am, I'm learning from all of you. And I'm really grateful for what I got from Lisa, what I got from Bob, the time that Bob spent on the phone with me this week. Absolute, means so much to me. it really, really is a big deal. And I'm just very, very blessed, very happy with where I'm at right now.
That's great, man. You're out there killing it. It's great to see.
I love the excitement
Yeah.
in your voice. I just,
You are killing it.
and it was great experience for you to have those 4 in a row, because it really is getting you to the point where it's starting to impact your unconscious mind. I think you guys started to talk about it a little bit in the beginning of the conscious competence. You know, it's going to start kicking in sooner than later, and your performances are going to be
Well, you know,
beyond amazing.
it's hard to wake up the day after you do 4 shows in a row at the National Reconnaissance Office and even feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, it'd be really hard to do that. I mean, just
Right. Hell, he did more shows this week than we did. We only did 3.
I made a mistake on the way, and I made a conscious choice very deliberately to keep from making this mistake, but there was something that I had done a couple months ago that I had forgotten about. There are a lot of here in Virginia, I don't know about elsewhere, there are a lot of shootings on highways. Apparently random or road rage, don't know, but it's something.
Is that like a feature?
I'm sorry?
Is that a feature of
Yeah, no, that's a feature. But it's like, it's a reality. And so usually when I'm driving on the highway, I make sure that I am not the least armed person on the highway. Okay. It's necessary. And so I made sure, because I was going onto a military installation, that I was unarmed, even though it meant being on the highway for, total round trip about 5 hours. I got that part right. What I forgot about was I had a bag in the trunk of my car that had a fully loaded mag in it.
did they check you?
And you got searched.
Well, they searched everybody, and their puppy found it.
Yeah.
And they didn't know exactly what they were going to do about at that point. And so they said, listen, you can go park across the street and walk over, or if you go park across the street, we'll inspect and come back. We'll inspect your car again, a little bit more thoroughly this time. And if it's not there, that's not our problem. So that's exactly what because I had too much. It's like, I didn't have a lot of stuff. It was like, I didn't want to haul something.
Did you just
like,
go hide your magazine in the bushes or what?
Yeah.
Get it back after you left?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But I was
At
like,
least they
oh
were
my
cool about
God,
it.
they're going to send my ass to a black site over this shit.
Right. You're going to the Huscow.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is a totally different experience doing a show at a top secret government installation.
Yeah, no doubt.
Totally different experience.
Unless there's a better candidate, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's a good chance that's going to be the title of this week's video.
Yep. I think that's the winner.
Yeah. But I would, and Lisa, I know you told me before that comedy clubs are my jam. Well, I agree with that. I would add that comedy clubs and military shows are absolutely.
Oh, I definitely.
Yeah.
Military is
like
your.
I've got an affinity for these people.
That's your first language.
Absolutely. And it's like, and they handle their stuff like adults. There's some things that suck about dealing with government entities. All right. I get that, but these are real people. And it's like, I'm figuring out what I got to do to get more military gigs.
That's awesome. Well, at least
No,
you've got
definitely.
one very successful underneath the belt, so that should help.
No, he's got 2.
Oh yeah, you've got
He
2.
did.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did 2 different military.
Yeah.
We did Army Reserves last night, but Yeah, if you can get into the military ones, you speak their language. I mean, that's a no-brainer right there.
I have a quick story about a magician that was hired by some Arab, dignitary to do a kid's show. And in the show, one of the bits was he pulls out this huge firecracker. And a friend of his was standing in the back, and he gets to this bit, he pulls out the firecracker, and the bodyguard in the back of the room immediately reaches for his gun. And nothing happened, but it was for the friend, it was a frightening moment because the bodyguard didn't know if that was a real bomb or a fake one.
Wow.
So don't pull out any bombs during your show.
Yeah, just fart bombs. That's all.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lisa beat me to it because I was muted.
Yeah. So
Wow.
mhm.
That's awesome.
Mm.
I can't wait to hear what more ones those end up getting you, because I'm sure that those particular references are going to get you more gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
Excellent.
The pictures I saw on Facebook, Colin, they they were definitely out.
yeah, I was surprised you were even able to get pictures.
So that was at the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
The
the first show,
Navy-
not
Okay. The
the.
Navy, you were
Yeah,
good.
now the NRO had a photographer there, and they're still trying to sort out whether or not I'm going to get the pictures and what the rules will be if I get them.
Mhm.
And so
Maybe you just have to blur out faces or something.
that was it. It's a different set of concerns that has to do with commercial. They're really sensitive about anything involving any kind of commercial use.
If you blur out faces, then it makes it okay to put it anywhere you want.
Not necessarily.
is that-
He said they're
Not
checking out the
necessarily.
rules.
In this case, it's
But I
like-
mean, even in public, or if you're, I think we talked about it last week with the whole filming of
So,
other people.
I don't know if it's the way all the way across the country, but I know in Texas, if somebody is in a public location and you film them, you don't have to get any kind of release or anything for it. Like you can just do whatever you want to because they were in public.
Some places are. California, I don't
Yeah.
think is, and I don't think Vegas is. But we just, when we do the show, we say, everybody, take your pointer finger and now point at the camera.
Yeah.
You've just given us permission to video you. It means they're aware of what's going on.
Generally in
every
a
state
public
is
venue,
a little bit different, and places like California and Vegas with strong entertainment, and New York with strong entertainment industries have a right to publicity that gives the person
I believe on the back of your ticket in very fine print. I remember I remember from baseball games, specifically
do a lot of
turn it
ticket
over. It would
events.
say specifically you're allowing Major League Baseball to use your pictures and this and that. And it's probably the same thing when you buy a ticket to a show.
Yeah, but see, that's
Well, I'm not
a
selling
baseball
tickets.
game. A baseball game is still a private event,
Mhm.
right? You're not in public when you're in a stadium. Okay. Now, when you're outside the stadium, then you're probably in public, depending on how things are. But yeah, it's like, so that's kind of a different area because it's private, even though it doesn't seem very
There's
private
a-
because there's 40,000 people there.
There's something on our contract to the effect of you are buying the live performance only, that they do not have the right to distribute the video, but that we will be videoing. So, although we've had schools, they have a AV department, and they want to video it and show it around, and that's fine, whatever. They're not selling it. We don't care.
Mhm.
anytime you're out in public, there is no expectation of privacy, period. That's why if you watch your First Amendment auditors, you learn a lot about that.
Hmm.
In
I'm a
public,
big
in
First
private,
Amendment
that's where it
auditor
changes.
fan too.
Yeah,
Well,
but that was the point I was trying to
it
make.
also
Though it can be difficult to tell where the line changes from public to private space.
Well,
You know.
but
And
see,
it's
that's
also
not really
whether-
the big question. The big question is, are you in a state where you have a right to publicity?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
which is
for
different
us,
from
it's
your right
more
to
about
privacy.
Okay.
it's for us, it's more about we're filming it with the expectation that we are going to make money selling it.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
filmmakers. So the people that are in the film have the right to choose whether they want their image to be used or not.
Right.
And that's why we have them point at the camera. When I did the reality show in Vegas, we had to sign something saying that we knew we were being filmed. And there was a guy standing around with a sign that said, if you walk into this space, you could be on film. And then some drunk homeless guy threw a fit and they paid him $20
Wow.
to use his likeness. And the other people they blurred out. So it just really does depend on if it's for just publicity or if it's for profit. In some cases, but for Colin, it's a matter of security, national security in that case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
whole
it's
different
more
ballgame.
than that. It's their rules as far as commercial use that they're more concerned about.
Yeah.
The room where we were in had a disclaimer sign on there saying that our contractors may be photographing you, and if you have privacy concerns, either related to your personal life or your job, then you need to not come in here. And so, but that's not really the issue. Is they've got some very funky regulations that they read to me, but I don't understand in English regarding what can be done involving their events and commercial usage. So
Gotcha. Well, if you don't understand it, definitely err on the side of caution.
yeah.
And make sure to invite them all to your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Bob, what have you been up to this week? Any shenanigans?
I had a pretty pretty big case in my I'm getting it back. Why am I getting back feed again? It's weird.
It was
just-
just for a second. It's gone.
Did you
on
hear
this
that?
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
for just a second.
I had one of my employees come in, and it was the first time that I normally like content, and I was telling Colin about this too. I think I was telling you, I wasn't sure which one, but he came in with one problem, which was basically his friend dying, to a memory that he was really struggling with. And I knew that he put up a pretty big blocker, and he was really resisting. And then finally, when I did break through, I did non-content for the rest of the time, which I hadn't done in a while. I can't tell you when the last time I did it. And it was rough, but we did a lot. He thought the memory was not even affecting him. He's like, man, I've been through therapy and I never had, for 2 years, and I didn't think that was bothering me anymore. And we went in there and cleaned it up. And then afterwards, he couldn't believe the breakthrough he had. But it was ebbs and flows. You know how that goes. They're in, they're out. They're in, they're out. They're in. And when you finally get to it and you're in the unconscious mind and you're speaking, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't want to play. It just says, oh no, or conscious mind takes over. And it's like, it was literally watching two little children fighting for attention. And it was just trying to get to the other one and making sure that that executive was understanding what was happening and making the most impact that I could. And it was really, all it was, I mean, if he was going on the path he would have died. He was not making a decision to go get himself help with medical because there was a resistance, because of the memory he was holding on from a long time ago. And once we got in there and I explained to him that a memory without emotion becomes wisdom, and it's important that we go into these memories, we figure out what's holding him back, we pull the learning, we preserve the learnings from it, but I asked him if they were still useful to the unconscious mind, and he said no. I said, okay, then that gives us permission to get rid of the charge. So we kept the memories intact, and they were useful for him as references to go back in the past for just a learning experience, but no longer any type of emotional charge that would affect him or hold him back to make better decisions today. And it was a big challenge. I didn't expect it.
Well, that's great that it worked well. You know,
Yeah.
I really like content free, non-content, blind therapy, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think they're generally really good techniques and can help people get through a lot of crap without having to dredge it all up.
What do you think the purpose of me doing that was?
Of you doing that with him was?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This is where it's very difficult because he works for me.
Yeah. That
And
way you're not dredging that stuff up with him. Yeah, I got you.
Yep. And I don't want to know because then I may hold it against him. And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to think anything different of him. And I didn't think it was fair to him. And I didn't think it was fair to me. So when you're coaching someone in that restrictive moment, you know, most of my stuff, thank God, I can do anywhere. We can do in public, you know, and Colin and I talked about that a lot. It's so flexible, which is nice when you have covert. And then I switched from covert to overt, then back to covert. So it was with this guy, but he said that he said all the years, and this is sad, all the years of therapy, he said, I would sit there and talk about all this stuff. He said, no one has ever asked me the questions you asked me and the way you did it and as fast as you did it. Because I have no time. Obviously, you know, you can't sit there for 3 hours or 2 hours or hour and a half trying to sort through his problems. And I explained to him, he goes, well, shouldn't I tell you what's going on? I said, no. I said, you got to remember one thing. A memory is deleted, distorted, and generalized. If you just tell me it over again, it's just going to change it. And you're going to reinforce it back in the library, and it's going to sit there as an old book once again. And then it's going to be pulled out at the wrong times, and it's going to hold you back. And of course, I'm using these metaphors, and he goes, wow, it makes sense.
Yeah, the human mind really is just a metaphor machine. You know, I mean, it's just almost everything we do is some sort of metaphor.
I also think that part of that is that you have a relationship with this person, albeit a professional one. A therapist would see this person one time a week or once every 2 weeks for 1 hour. You've had time to build up a bit of rapport with them, so you don't need to spend your time that you're working with them. You can get right into the meat of it.
Yeah, and if this wouldn't have happened, he was basically telling me he was bleeding out of his mouth when he was sleeping. That's how bad he got. Because as soon as he left, he went right to the hospital, and I was getting treated. He was low in magnesium. His electrolytes were low. And I guess he was dehydrated too. So
most of us are.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, every time you go to the hospital, they tell you that.
Most of
You're
us.
dehydrated.
I
Oh.
drink a gallon of water a day plus several other beverages and
Yeah.
probably still dehydrated.
But the good part was he made that choice, you know. He could have gone home.
Yeah.
You know, but I know because I said to him, now, how does it feel that you're making that move in the right direction? Presupposition. And he just looked at me and he goes, yeah, I am. And then he went in and got his insurance card and walked out. And then he texted me later and said that he's doing great and we'll see. Hopefully he shows up for work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my son-in-law is like, he either goes to work or he doesn't go to work. This is not how it works. I said, no, just relax. I said, this is not how I work.
You know, so many people in the world, that is how they work. You know, the general person, you know, Joe random on the street, they just don't understand how to deal with other people having issues. Even though we all have issues, but most of us don't know how to deal with our own issues, let alone someone else's.
So
You know?
how he found out, which is really strange. I think I was telling you, I'm working with a woman right now that was a heroin addict and she's been recovered. And I'm working with her and I know her husband. So I've got her on a 3-step process right now. Part of it is watching my videos so that I told her if something hits a nerve, I said, I need you to tell me that because I'm actually using the videos as part of therapy because they'll go in and they'll watch the videos and say, whoa, you know, the unfinished business one, that's huge. Okay, well then let's do it. So, and then I also have a couple other things. Well, he got wind that I was helping her because he knew her. It's really a long story, and that's where he contacted me and said, "Hey, I heard you're helping her. I need to talk to you." And the first thing is when he came in and he started talking about his dying friend. I said, "Do you have unfinished business?" And he said, "Yes." I said, Are you familiar with Gestalt therapy?" And he said, "No." And I said, "That's okay. Just let me explain it to you how it works." So I did. I put a chair in front of him and I said, "We're going to talk to him." And I said, how do you feel?" And he didn't have unfinished business. It had nothing to do with the person. It was about him and the fact that he may not be around forever. And that's when the whole breakthrough came. And then what I did was I said, "Okay, that's fine." I said, "But now I want you to talk to yourself instead." And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, you're sitting in front of you right now. And I want you to tell you how you feel and what's going on." He says, "Well, I've never done that." And I said, "Well, you are today." So it was interesting to say the least. He kept looking over at me. I said, "No, no, no, look over there. He's sitting there. Don't ignore him." A lot of meaning there.
Yep. Yep.
Don't ignore him. So yeah, it's been this week has been very challenging with the whole HVAC business. We've got all kinds of stuff going on there. And I've got one person I'm coaching on the outside, and then this one comes in and get lots of practice.
That's good. That's
It's all good though.
Speaking of practice, how is your practice taking off, Joe? No, you're hitting the ground running. Seen several clients since you finished
Yeah, I had
class.
some notes those mostly this weekend, so I ended up going back into class coaching through the HTA, the hypnotherapy class or hypnosis training academy. There we go.
Yeah.
I know I get that out. Anyway, and today I had to drive the wife to go meet her daughter so that they can go run around the store. So anyway,
And
so now I
did you
just parking out here by Circle K so I can talk at this meeting.
That's all right.
and have you did have some clients, or you're saying you're only training now?
Both. Today I was supposed to have seen yesterday and showed. One of them was going to talk to me today. He no showed again. These aren't really the one I'm seeing right now. Aren't paying clients. They're just like families I'm working with and looking for referrals through them.
So what are you going to do if this person's no showed on you now when they're not paying you? So are you going to try to reschedule or are you going to put your foot down?
I will probably just go ahead and reschedule. Like I said, they're family, but I'll reschedule when I'm at, and if something else comes up, I'll just tell them, hey, something else has come up. So, and I'll probably talk to them in between and, let them know that if this isn't that important to them, if I'm not busy when they call, I'll take care of them. So,
Of course, it's not important. It's free. It has zero value. And that's
right.
11 years of experience of having made the mistake of doing things for people free and seeing what their results are like versus the people who pay a real value to it.
Right.
And
they had great results. Their pain's still gone.
I will just tell you, the law of large numbers says, and not just me, don't believe me, is that they are not paying. They have no skin in the game.
Right.
Buy-in is at a totally different level than when someone is paying hundreds of dollars a session.
Yeah, it does make a difference for sure, but I totally understand.
And they're not taking you seriously as a professional. You're just their friend, their family member. So if you're just saying, well, that's fine. You know what? They no showed on me twice. No big deal. I'll let them reschedule. You're also allowing yourself to be a doormat at that point.
You got a point there.
And then you got to think, there comes a point where you go, okay, so even if this person sends me a referral, it's probably going to be kind of crap because they're kind of crap as a client. So the client they send me is probably going to be kind of crap too.
I hadn't thought about that point.
Hey, Joe. So you said that I think you said he still doesn't have pain. So that means that you did have some sessions with that person.
Yeah, I did have a session with them. They were going to come in,
and it worked so well that why would he come back to fix any of his other problems? Because his pain is gone.
Yeah, true.
Good point.
What was he coming back for, Joe?
Smoking and weight.
Okay. So what was the original?
The original was chronic pain from a motorcycle accident.
Okay.
His wife had chronic pain from service-related injuries, and right now they're both pain-free from it. So,
see, it's easy to get motivated for, okay, I'll go do this session for free because it's going to possibly get rid of my pain. But smoking doesn't really hurt me today, and overeating doesn't really hurt me today. And so it's a lot harder to get people motivated to get in and do something about those things.
Right.
Also right before the holidays. So you probably hear from him after the new year.
And that's what I say if they even contact you to say, you know what, I'm booked out through the end of the year. I don't have time to help you right now. Put it on them, put the onus on them and make it scarce.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Joe, you're working full time and this is your part time?
No, I'm medically retired from my previous job.
Okay, I think you did say that.
Hand doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I can tell them I'm booked right now. I can't because I'm seeing other people.
Did you say this is a family member or a friend?
Yeah, family.
Family. Oh, okay.
This one happens to be a nephew and his wife.
So this was the first or second one that you worked with so far?
No one, somebody paid him. One of these people paid him.
Ended up paying me some. He said he actually, I'll go ahead and pay you some here. He sent me $1 and then said, yeah, I'll send you some more. And so it sent me 200. So
okay, so
which was kind of cool.
Your public is your lab. do you usually, what do you do during the day? Do you go out at all for coffee or kind of do anything to pass time a little bit?
Basically, I just been hitting HTA, the Hypnosis Training Academy, and Jacqueline Hypnosis Academy. When I'm not actually out when I'm not doing something like that on Zoom or something, I'm just
No, he's saying, how are
finishing
you
out my
meeting
classes.
people? How are you
Right
meeting
now,
people? How are you,
just through
Well,
how are you
referral.
networking?
What he asked was, how are you feeling your day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how
with
I've been filling
client
my days.
activities.
Going to
Yeah.
client activities, not so much. I've been working, just going back into those classes and just pounding those classes out.
Well, I would say that if you're gonna get some experience by doing some stuff for free, I would recommend you do so in a public forum so that maybe other people can at least see it. You know.
That's
Yeah.
that's a thought. I was going to ask them for a video referral,
Yeah.
which
What-
was a
what-
suggestion I had
so-
earlier.
So what you want to do is break it up into very small blocks. Like just say, okay, for example,
video.
rapport.
Mhm.
You know, when you, like if I go to Panera's, I do it all the time. I still continue to do it. Actually, I did it with my granddaughter this morning with the person that was helping out with the food in the morning at the hotel. So
Mhm.
you want to see how you can strike up a conversation when someone is totally not paying attention to you, and you can get their attention literally to turn around or to come to you or to be focused on you, and you can learn to start asking the right questions to hold their attention. So rapport and attention, just those two, and you'd be shocked on how much information you can get in the feedback, as well as when I do it, I always aim to fail. And the reason why I think that in my head is because then there's no boundaries. I'm not setting myself up where I have a procedure to do. Like, okay, well, let me see. Step one, I need the A is attention, bypass the critical faculty. And then, no, it doesn't happen. Let's just do it naturally. And you keep practicing it over and over and over. It could be just, like set a goal for yourself to hold their attention for 2 seconds, or maybe get their name as fast as you can. See how fast you can get it. I mean, this morning, for example, was my granddaughter and I were at the hotel, and this kid was running around. He was extraordinary. And I like this kid. And so he was facing the other way. He was cleaning the tables, and I said, "How long have you worked here?" Now, there was somebody else over on the other side. He knew exactly the fact that I was asking the question, because he turned around, then he looked at me, and he said, "I've been here for 7 years." And I said, "Wow, that is interesting. And is this your full-time job?" And it was bang. He instantly, and I was genuine. I leaned forward. And then of course, I like to entertain my granddaughter. So I started doing some other things. But he was a professional dancer. He had a degree in dancing. He was from New York. He was telling me this whole life story. And then I was ready, and I thought, now I better not, because the timing has always got to be right. I was literally going to have him do a skit with dancing in front of the crew, because in front of these people, there was a bunch of people in there for breakfast. And I looked at my granddaughter, and she shook her head, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do it. But I knew sometimes you say, what do you spend most of your time doing, or what's your hobby? People love to talk about either their hobby or what they spend most of their time doing. The best part was when I asked him what his hobby was, the girl that was working with him, he said, not much of anything. And she goes, "Are you kidding me? You're a professional dancer. You know ballet." I go, "Oh, you're a professional dancer?" Bang. That was it.
Right.
So it's learning how to interact without, and knowing you can fail. So when you're with clients, no matter what you get, you can use. Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, it fits in with what I was learning a little bit today, actually.
Oh, and
Yeah,
you're at the training during the day, you mean?
Yes.
I'm all for more training. I've certainly taken my fair share of it, as I'm sure everybody in this room has. But there comes a point when I would say that 1 hour of actually doing the thing is probably worth 20 hours of additional training in the thing. You know, whatever it
Sounds
happens
about
to
right.
be.
And when you mean the thing, what does that mean, Scott?
Whatever. It could be hypnosis, it could be computer programming, it doesn't matter. When you break it down, actually doing whatever it is you're training in, is you learn so much more from the doing than you do from the training ultimately.
I concur.
You said programming, Scott. What do you mean by programming?
I was just talking about computer programming. I'm saying the skill doesn't matter.
Okay,
right?
so the skill doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But
So you can
Right.
practice martial arts by practicing a punch and practicing a kick 1,000 times a day for a year, but you'll learn more in, 5 actual live full contact matches than you will in that
Yeah.
whole time.
so you're in that karate match or whatever it is that you pull punches, but you're not thinking and you're just reacting.
Exactly.
Well,
So-
it's the difference between shadow boxing and sparring.
I'm doing it right now, Joe. I was
Yeah.
doing it so you could see with
Yeah.
Scott.
Okay.
See how I was trying? You see how you just do it.
You're just flushing out that metaphor is what you're doing, and then
Yeah.
like I said, it doesn't matter what the skill is. They all work that way,
And
And
you
you
got to
can-
do it smooth
Right.
enough that they don't know you're doing it in public, because then and
Which-
they don't know you're playing the game.
Yeah, the public is a lot less discerning than us in this room. We keep our eyes on Bob.
I've seen that before. With good reason. I've seen him work. Like I said, I was collateral damage on one of these other meetings.
Yeah.
It was good collateral damage, but nonetheless.
And when you say that collateral damage, Joe,
But picking out power states.
oh, power states.
When
Okay,
you're talking to
James.
No, it was
Bivens.
Bivens, Royce.
Oh,
Royce.
Royce.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
like I said, and you were talking to him, helping him out, and looking at power states and stuff. And it's like I said, it's collateral damage. Bam, I'm there at like 8 of them, and I started writing that stuff down because I realized when it happened at that point what was going on. Hey, you better write this down, dummy.
There's a lot. Really, I sent actually Scott the video, and I went through it with a really rough part of it. I didn't make it complete, but it's a rough draft. But there's a lot packed in there, and I put a lot. I took some of the clips and I put one of them on as a video. But if we could, sometime we'd love to play that. There's a lot in there that I exposed for you guys and for
Yeah.
anybody else. That there was a lot packed into that thing.
I figured that much out because, like I said, it was like once I understood I was being affected by this, and it was in a good way, and I'm saying, yeah, this is good, and realized, and was paying a lot more attention to it.
So, I mean, when you're doing stuff, the biggest thing is to listen and practice listening and making sure you can remember what's being said along the way so that you can
Right.
go back to wherever you want to go back to, because the person that's talking is never thinking and talking.
Say that again.
The person that is talking is not thinking and talking at the same time. So if you can, you've already got one over. And I say that in a good way. I don't say that in a bad way. Because it's important. If you are listening, you'll catch things, because the unconscious mind loves to spit it out. It's leakage. And if you can find it, you can really hit therapy very quickly and get things done.
And that's one of many challenges when you're working with family members, especially, and people well, because guess what? We suck as humans at listening to family members. And that's just one of 50 different things, but that makes working with family members really super problematic.
Ooh, amen.
And one of the things that Bob does is that he's walking into a restaurant. He doesn't know this dude's a dancer, and he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's fearless. The comfort zone of working with people that you've known for decades is a mirage.
Yeah. The only thing that I think worked in his favor with the nephew is that by family hierarchy, he is already an authority.
Nice. Well, yes, definitely,
Yeah,
Lisa.
not to mention it.
You know, versus working with your partner or your kids. You know, they're like, we know you just learned this. Whereas your nephew's
And-
not that close to you, but you're already an authority figure to him. You're already, an
Right.
adult in his life.
And probably pain is I'm thinking of the word, it's less of a vice than, smoking, or what was the other thing that he wanted?
Wait.
Weight loss.
Weight.
Yeah.
I mean, those are more problematic in terms of having to change, having
you could
to actually
also-
make a change in your life. Whereas pain, it's sort of, no one likes pain, and it's not
But you could
something-
also let
Hmm?
him know that weight loss can affect his joints and the probabilities that he will have less pain as he gets older if he loses the weight now.
Mm,
I'd be
Right.
really careful about how you phrase that particular conversation. Unless you were intentionally trying to
I
implant
was being
suggestion.
careful. I was being careful.
I know you were, but you were right there.
Oh yes, riding the line. Motivation. Turn up the pain. Turn up the.
and definitely
I
Lisa
don't know
makes a
why you
great
muted
point.
Lisa. I didn't.
Yeah, I
mute
saw
her.
that. She was right in the middle of her conversation.
Her mic just muted.
But Joe,
Did y'all not hear me?
Oh.
No, you cut off right in the middle of that last sentence. I assume the last sentence.
I said, turn up the pain, turn up the progress.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
missed
there
that
we
one.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got the full version.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But Lisa's right. The authority and novelty are the two things that can really move someone. So the fact that you're learning this stuff, you could actually get the other members, interested, or you could influence them through novelty. Probably not as much as authority, though. But if you have both, then you really got it.
But ultimately, I mean, you need to start thinking how are you going to get some cold contact clients, I guess you call them, like people who don't know you, people
Right.
who don't know you from anybody else in this room.
Yeah,
getting
I'm
clients is
planning
often
on-
more difficult than the learning the hypnosis.
I'm finding that to be true.
Yeah.
Because like when I talked to them and my brother, I went like 2 minutes, Eric signing language, and they're just like that, So that part's easy.
Are there networking groups in your area?
Not yet.
Well, are
one
there
thing
probably online groups? I mean, I belong to a couple of online networking groups that are literally countrywide. There's one that has a guy from Israel and some other
Okay.
country.
There
Uh,
probably is some sort of BMI or some other group in your area.
Yeah, I
networking group
mean,
for
but
businesses.
BNI is a big investment. I mean, and until you're
Yeah.
confident enough in yourself, I wouldn't go for BNI, but there are plenty of free groups around and even online groups that I've gotten clients from, and once you get one and it's successful, you do get referrals. So that's definitely a way to go out and get clients, is to hop on a referral group.
I think Colin would concur with that. It's where he gets a lot of
Right.
gets
Hey,
a lot of his
Joe.
clients.
Joe, you said that you do the Ericksonian and they kind of do this. And then from there, and then you clenched your lips and you kind of stopped. So I'm just curious, like, what do you mean after that? You don't know what to do, or you kind of stuck, or that's easy?
Oh no, and it was easy that they're just down, you know, and then I could proceed from there, no problem.
Okay.
Went in through like Dr. Unconscious Mind, just waking their head up for quick conversation, figure out and talk to the part response for the problem, using that approach, and then bringing them back down into their head back down into the rest of their body, and then worked on a few suggestions. Then I ran Jacqueline's arrow technique on the pain when I finished up, and it was like done.
The arrow
Then our
technique
brothers
is
were
really good.
Oh, once I tried that, it's like, whoa, this is nice. Then my brother, I've been working on him 2 sessions so far, and he seems to be benefiting. His diet's changed, his pants are getting loose, and so that's moving in a good direction there.
That's good. Yeah.
So
And I'm realizing now too, and I do apologize for that last statement. It's the
Yeah.
camera that's screwing me up, because when
Oh.
you have a delay. So,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and and everybody knows I'm super sensitive to shutter speed on people's eyes when they're talking, because if I can't see any part of their body, then I either watch their mouth or their eyes.
Right.
And your mouth is clenched, but it wasn't your mouth. It was the delay in the.
Right.
I hate
Well,
Zoom. I hate
Yeah,
Zoom.
well, it's not just Zoom. I'm on my cell phone today instead of my PC.
No,
like
it's
I
not your
normally am.
fault. It's just
Not my phone.
it messes with my head a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm on my
It does
phone
happen
instead of
sometimes.
my PC.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you get those great pauses, though. You know.
It's like.
But anyway, but yeah, I'm on my phone right now, so things are not as the same.
So
The lighting here is horrible.
Yeah, I know that Justina and myself have been approved for our talks at HTL. Has anyone else?
I wasn't, but then I didn't apply. So
Well,
No.
that does make a difference.
Yeah.
You can't win if you don't buy a ticket.
that's right.
Yeah, I got my announcement the other day as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Here's one of the things I'm confused on. All these people are saying they got chosen, but nobody's talking about what they're going to be presenting on.
They don't tell you. If you submit
yeah.
more than one topic,
Yeah, you
they
won't.
don't tell you until they've finalized it.
Yeah, so we won't actually know. I mean, I know what I'm speaking on, or I know what I should be speaking on, because I only submitted for one.
Well,
But
if you only submitted for one, then that's the one.
the way that he phrased that this year, I'm not so certain about that. The way he phrased
Well,
that in his video. So I was
It's-
just gonna wait.
Yeah, I mean, if you only submitted for one and you were chosen, then that's the one. They don't let you change your topic later.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to brag or anything, but I was actually the first person to get their deal. I know this because when
you
you
run
get
the
the
site.
deal, it shows who all it was shared with.
James, what's going to be your topic, or which 3 did you pick?
I submitted about a course about training design, one about training delivery. So I'm not sure which one they picked.
Who knows? We might have got both of them, but
Justina, what did you pick? Oh, we don't
can't
hear you.
You're not muted, but I can't hear you. No problem. We can wait. It's loud up in the jet.
Can you hear me now?
I
Yes,
can
we
hear
can.
you now.
Barely.
Yeah, it's a stupid new laptop that's just giving me lots of problems. But I submitted on self-care, and I just submitted a 1-hour slot and a 2-hour slot, and that was it.
Awesome.
And self-care, what do you mean by that?
So So the way I'm gonna run it is almost like designing your life in a way that you're actually caring for yourself in every aspect.
Mm.
The physical sense, the spiritual sense, the emotional sense. I divided into 4. So I'm gonna go over each one. I'm gonna make it experiential. I'm gonna make them do exercises. I'm gonna put it all in one.
Wow. Yeah, it's always fun when they're doing activities and they're getting
Yeah.
involved. How long do you think it's going to be?
So if they give me 2 hours, I can really do it in depth. If it's 1 hour, then I'll have to make it more light, and maybe, because I want to maybe add a meditation or something at the end as well to kind of incorporate everything together. But it really depends on how much time they give me will be how much I can do.
When
the
you
more
said
time they give me, the more.
you said meditate.
Hypnosis. Well,
Okay,
hypno
okay, because I
hustle.
was trying to, yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of meditate and put everything together. I wasn't sure what that meant.
It'll actually be in some NLP process that I'll probably
Oh,
do.
nice. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it really depends. 1 hour, you really can't do. It's not. So then it would be 50 minutes, right? And you can't do a lot in 50 minutes.
Especially if they hold
So
you up in the beginning or something, with conversation or even questions. You may have to say if they're, the questions you might have to hold till the end. So at least, you get enough time in because that can really tie you up too. I know a lot of presenters are starting to do that.
yeah, I'm not going to allow for any questions till the very end, or the only questions would be clarification on the activity, or but any other questions, I'll probably have them at the end, or else I'll be totally off for time.
So it's 50 minutes instead of 60?
I think so, because the 10 minutes is to go from class to class, right?
Yeah, it's always 50
Yes.
minutes.
It's always
Okay.
been 50
Yeah.
minutes.
I never realized that. It's interesting.
Didn't think I was gonna get approved, so I'm like, oh yay. I'm
Who
probably
knows
one of
what
the last
exactly
to
it's
get
going to
it,
be this
but
year, but
I
Yeah.
just literally booked my flight. And I'm hoping that it doesn't change at all because I think it's 7 o'clock in the morning that I have to leave on Monday. So that means I'd have to get to the airport at least 2 hours before. So that's
Yes, you-
4:30.
You're coming in
I'm
the
waiting
Monday
until they
before?
announce the pre and post. Because I'm never sure what I want to do, if there's something interesting
Yeah.
pre, I can't see spending 3 weeks there. If you do both pre and post, it's like 2 weeks
Yeah,
or something.
I go the Tuesday before to the Thursday after, so I can catch most any pre or post if I want. But I just go.
I
I
think
just do
I'm-
that because I like
I was
Vegas.
there 2 weeks this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm booked pretty close after the convention ends. So I hope anything I want is either in the pre or if
So what
they're
is your
having me
talk
teach a
on?
class, it's good. I don't remember.
You don't remember? It's in your email.
It is in
Search
my
for it.
emails.
Yeah,
I'm on my phone.
don't remember.
And I couldn't open the PDF agreement on my phone either. So I have to wait
Yeah,
till tomorrow.
I had to get on a computer to get it to work properly. Also, he did not want to cooperate.
Yeah, I
with
clicked
my
on it,
phone.
but it wouldn't open. I mean,
Yeah.
I only submitted on topics that I could talk about if I was had COVID, I wouldn't even need anything. But I did submit for a pre or post con, so we'll see what happens. I haven't heard about those yet.
And I sent most
But it's-
everybody in the group here my my submission to get it proofread and
Yeah.
everything. So
Well, I
Yeah.
sent you mine too, so I don't
I'm
remember
doing
what
on
it was.
audio. So I'm making it
I'm
recorded.
sure mine's something on inductions.
And mine I only submitted for a 2-hour class because if I'm actually going to do that class, I need 2 hours.
hmm
But
But you
like
got accepted, so.
yeah, but like Justina said that you might get cut. It's possible.
Yeah, but you submitted for a 1 or a 2, right?
Oh, okay.
I
One
only
or two, yeah.
submitted for a 2 because I know I can't teach that class in 1 hour. It's like what I want
So
to do. I
you
don't
get
think it'd be
the-
possible.
I think Colin's sleeping.
No.
So you get 110 minutes if you're
pulling
doing a
something out
2 hour.
here.
Okay, buddy. I just
As
making
a
sure you're all right.
student break.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, if you're doing a 2 hour, you don't have to break. I mean, you can be nice and give them a break in between, but you can go 110 minutes.
So we know those 4 people are going. I'm fairly certain Sean will be going. Anybody else? We know
I'm
Bob's
going. I think
Yeah, Colin's
I
still on
already
the fence.
put in.
I
I think
hope-
I already registered. Now I can't remember.
I hope you go, Colin. I'd really like to see you there.
Yeah, no, I'd like to go, but it's one of those things that
Money,
I've
yeah.
got to have a business justification for it.
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
And,
I get it. Sure. Maybe so what you're saying is we need to get you a show booked in Vegas.
That
There you go.
actually would be one of the ways that it would justify it business wise.
Yeah, but you
Speaking
can
of
write it off. It's education.
speaking of justifying it business wise, I am probably going to get a booth for Hypno Hustle. And if anybody has anything in this group that they want on that table, you're more than welcome to get that done, and have your wares or your program or your whatever out on that table to sell.
Colin can sell his fart machines. There you go.
Yeah, Colin can sell fart machines. Yeah, absolutely.
How does
When-
that
when-
work? Do they pay cash or they pay credit when you put stuff on
You
your
can
table?
take cash or credit. I figured I would kind of run it like an honor box, if you get a QR
There's no
code.
honor among hypnotists or
Yeah,
thieves.
What'd
throw
you
your
say,
QR
Colin?
code.
I said there's no honor among hypnotists or thieves.
Hey, that's okay. I trust in the goodness of people. So, and besides, like, if it's a digital product and I'm running it as an honor system, like, what are you gonna do? Steal the QR code? Go ahead. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They can
I
scan
was
it and
just
pay for it
reading,
right then.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just reading the agreement right now, and I think this might be what you were referencing, Scott, but it doesn't tell you which time, like how long your time slot is, but
Yeah.
it's possible you could have got a 20-minute time slot,
Yeah,
and you won't know that at this point.
exactly.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Yeah.
there was anything about a 20-minute time slot.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's
So
I
does
think
that
it's
mean
Is
they're
that like
gonna
a
bring
TED
the
talk? Is
Yeah,
that
they're
gonna
doing
be the
like
panel
25-minute TED Talks kind of things. No, those are separate from the
panels are-
panels.
Yeah, panels
Are
are
they gonna
coming
do
back as
panels?
well, but
They
it's
are.
separate.
They are going to do panels. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
Okay, interesting.
I didn't realize that was an option. That may be kind of fun.
yeah.
Did that like 2 years ago, right?
No, it was last year.
No, it was not last year. It was
Oh, the TED
COVID.
Talk thing was, the TED Talk was 3 years ago,
Yeah,
maybe.
it was during COVID.
But the panels was last year, right?
Yeah.
The decades are running together at this point.
This year, it just passed.
Well, yeah, technically it's still this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This last one, HTLX.
Yeah.
So Scott, you were talking about your programs and stuff. Quite a few years ago, Melissa Tears had this. It looks like a credit card, right?
But it's a USB stick.
It is.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. And I actually was watching it today again on the Unconscious Mind. And I'm a fan of hers, of course. But I thought this was brilliant. I mean, this has the 4-day class with all the chapters in it, and I think she charged me $200. And it was easy. I could take it home. I can put it in my computer anytime, my laptop, whatever, and make copies of it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely a way to go.
And I know she had a stack of them when I first saw her, and then by the time she was gone, towards the end, she was selling a lot of these. So it's just for you guys, to this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I've not
Yeah.
seen that. I've seen
Yeah.
the key. I've seen some other things, but I've not seen one that looks like a credit card.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Get a
So,
USB stick that looks like a squid and call it a neural link.
for some reason, this to me, yeah, right. Neuralink.
Get one that looks like a whoopee cushion
That'd be Collins
for
there.
Colin. For Colin. We know what mine would look like.
I'm actually selling, should be arriving here this week. I'm selling a credit card that is a official Hypnosis is Amazing white privilege card
Oh my goodness.
into a bit that I do. And basically the pitch on it is look, the problem with white privilege isn't that it exists, it's that it exists for just a very, very small number of really rich, really powerful white guys. But with this card, we can get white privilege in the hands of more and more people.
Oh my God. Hey, Colin, I had a question. I'm gonna have to peace out pretty soon and go catch my flight. But how did your scary clown postal mailing turn out? What was your return? What was your contact?
Please don't report me for this anti-government rant.
Okay,
If the
recording stopped.
Postal Service, I'm convinced, is run by the same people who is running Putin's war in Moscow. Only about, and I seeded my list of all the ones that I sent outside of Virginia, only a third of them got there.
So you got a lot of returns in the mail.
No returns, no arrivals, no returns.
So you followed up with the people to see if they received it.
No, what I did is I seeded the list. Every state I mailed to, I had people there who I also was mailing to. And
Okay.
And so I feel like, and it's like I am putting time and money into getting points of contact for all the people I sent physical mail to, so I can follow up with them regardless. But I think as a mailing, it's like I'm done with mailing at this point. And
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
and the number of checks that took a slow boat to China to get to me from now on shows is $150 fee if you want to send a check by mail. I'll give you all kinds of other ways to pay me, but I'm done with check by mail. You want to send me FedEx, that's cool, but I'm done with check by mail.
Yeah, no USPS for you.
No.
Wow. Well, I think you could turn that postcard into like an email, a newsletter.
Mm-hmm. Listen, my follow-up game is strong. I'm just a little bit frustrated that I spent all this money on postage that the Postal Service didn't actually feel.
And they didn't even deliver it. Yeah, that sucks. So of the about 1/3 that you think were received, did you receive any calls? Did you get any emails?
I got a couple of messages, and we've talked. I think I've spoken to a total of 3 people as a result of it.
And you sent out 500 or 1,000?
Sent out 500.
And you got 3 back. That's not terrible odds.
No,
did you only send one mailing?
Yes. How many? 500 pieces.
And you sent it just once, though?
Yes, just once. Yeah.
All right. In general, it's better to send less numbers, but multiple times. I know I do mailings. And I've gotten calls years later from a postcard that they got, and they threw in their, drawer, or, I do library programs, and every year there's a themed program. And every year I would send out a postcard specifically for that library's that year's theme. and I would invariably get calls. Hey, I have your postcard here. Do you do a theme program? It's like,
Yes,
What do
yes,
they
we
look
do.
at?
No, I always want to talk about recycling. Yeah, that's me.
yeah, right. but yeah, I mean, doing just one is people, like any advertising, the more people see it, the more they'll start to think, oh, okay. And when you say it wasn't received, are you sure it was just not delivered, or it
You
went
understand
directly
the
into
term
the?
seeding your list?
Mhm.
Do you understand what that term means?
So
You
let's
sent
say
it to people
you're-
you know.
He sent it to people he knew. Yes.
Yes, I sent
That's
I sent another 50 pieces out that were all seeds based on region. And so the issue, and so the key to this whole plan wasn't the postcard. The key was the follow-up postcard.
Yeah.
But it's like the postcard, I feel like I just set my money on fire because it's like 2/3 didn't get delivered outside of Virginia.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is pretty strange.
That's
And
strange.
so look, something's up with the postal service that it took them a month to get me a check, first class stamped envelope. You know,
From the postmark.
I'm sorry.
It was postmarked and it took a month.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
crazy.
Live stamp. Not like they tried doing through their postage media.
Yeah, not like it was media mail. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, something's up with the postal service. I gotta figure out options other than the USPS right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Credit
Yeah.
cards.
All right, people. I gotta go find my
All right.
gates.
We'll catch
All
you
right,
later,
Lisa.
Lisa. Enjoy
Bye-bye.
the air.
Peace. Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
So Sean, tell us more about that.
About what?
Yeah, he was teasing him.
Oh,
He was teasing Sean. See if Sean's actually there. He usually is there. I'm surprised he hasn't responded. Nice try. It's in the chat. Nice try, Bob.
Are you not there, Sean?
Ben?
He's there. He responded in the chat.
Yeah.
Still not
Oh,
feeling
gotcha.
100%.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I hope you get better soon. I know Stephanie's
Yeah.
not here tonight because she's also not feeling 100%.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of getting something there.
The flu this year is rough.
Oh, yeah. How's James doing?
Question.
Doing good. Yeah, all is going well.
Did you get new glasses or is it just a different
I did.
pair?
These are new glasses.
Okay, I thought
This
so.
is my new old haircut. I cut my own hair. I started doing it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now I'm too cheap to go back to a regular barber. But yeah, I got these from a place in Austin called Roca.
Yeah.
They make athletic eyewear, but like they passed this shake test. Watch this. Like they didn't even move. Pretty weird.
Yeah.
Maybe the title will be the one where James headbangs his glasses off.
Yeah. Yeah, forget it. Don't post that on the internet.
Wow.
You guys hear me? Oh, you can't hear me.
I can
We can
hear you
hear you.
now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Me?
you're
Yeah.
low.
Okay.
You're very low.
I don't know what to do. But okay. I have a question.
Okay.
I got this message, and it's not even from my Justina account. It's like from my Sony Curry account on Facebook. And the guy goes that he was hypnotized while on holiday in Spain, and the hypnotist has kept him in some sort of hypnosis because that he was gay, the hypnotist was gay, and that he's sexually assaulting him in his sleep. And he's asking, how do I stop him? And how can you, if I could give him hypnotherapy. So I ignored it. We sent it some time ago, thinking like this is like BS.
Colin,
But
your input.
Completely
When
and
I- when-
totally bullshit.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's my take too.
Oh, and
yeah.
the guy that's complaining about being sexually assaulted by a gay guy is almost certainly gay himself. This is just simply an excuse for,
Well, that's what I was going to say. It might be that, yeah, he's coming to terms with his sexuality. So you may be able to help him, but yeah, it does sound kind of like a wacky story.
I thought it was totally made up, but then I just looked into it a little bit more, and he did, like, his Facebook account looks real, so doesn't look like it's a fake account. He did do a review on someone else who's a relatively new hypnotist. He put a comment saying totally unprofessional in all caps on this hypnotist's Facebook page, who doesn't have a website but a Facebook page. And when I looked further, that hypnotist became a hypnotist through some website that looks legit, in in another part of the world. So there may be some validity to it. So do you think I should
Does
respond
that
to him
other
and kind of look
hypnotist happen to
further?
be? Does the other hypnotist happen to be located in Spain?
It's not I don't know. I'd have to double check
Yeah.
that.
And then
Yeah, I'd have
does
to
it look
double-check
like from the Facebook that this guy actually went on a vacation in Spain? You know,
I didn't think to check that. I'll check
Like-
that also.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying like maybe the guy's legit, but he's already left one bad review for a hypnotist. I'd stay away. You know,
Yeah.
unless I mean, do you think? Let me put it this way: let's say that it's 100% legit. Would you feel comfortable working with the person on this thing?
On the topic, yeah, like that
Okay.
doesn't
Well,
bother me at
I mean,
all.
then
So I think we go back to this. Remember the three brains. So what does your gut tell you?
Really, I thought it's just some guy finding an excuse to talk to a girl, but
That's your
Yeah,
gut
because-
saying that? That's your gut
no,
feeling?
that was originally. But now looking into it, like, I'm thinking, okay, mate, what if it is legit? And like what somebody said, that maybe he is gay and needs to come in terms with it or something. I'd probably be willing to have a consultation with him, and then to see if it goes.
Okay, well,
Okay.
what's talking, your head, your heart, or your gut? That's what I need to hear. What do you feel in your gut? Because we always start with our gut first and work our way up.
Like now I'm thinking, like, if someone like really did that, it's totally unethical, and I feel like I'd want to help him.
Okay.
Okay.
but
So-
it's not possible
But-
for somebody to do that.
He's saying that the guy hypnotized him. He was gay, and now he's assaulting him in his dreams. So does he think he implanted a post-hypnotic suggestion that I'm going to sleep with you in your dreams, or is this something else? Yeah.
So what is it? What is he actually wanting you to do? To hypnotize him
wants
to
the
not
guy to
dream
stop.
about this person?
Yeah, he wants it to stop.
Okay.
Like, he's
So
from this place I've never heard of. I'd have to Google it. Dunfermline, FIFE. And why is he messaging me? I mean, there must be so many people near him, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm leaning towards probably be judicious with the block. But let's play it out. Let's play it out. The guy is trying to find a way to get on a Zoom call, because I'm assuming you're not going to meet this guy in person, right? He lives who knows where. So he's looking to get on a Zoom call with a pretty hypnotist and, play with himself on said call. If that's how it plays out, are you going to be traumatized by that?
Well, do you think like, because I'm not going to do it for free, I would charge. And do you think they would they pay if they wanted to do that, right?
The guys never
Yes.
pay for sex.
Oh yeah, okay.
What did you say, Colin?
I said guys never pay for sex.
Oh, yeah, okay. Like, well, the thing is, so maybe he would pay for that. Does that make you okay with it?
So you can always just hang up. She already got the money, but
You could always hang up. You already got the money, you know?
Yeah.
I just think there is a chance that it's something that you can't resolve if he's, you know, I mean, I guess I'm reading into it too much, but the story sounds like, yeah, maybe he has unresolved issues and maybe it's even something he doesn't want to come to terms with. He just wants it to stop. You probably can make, I don't know. I've never worked with anybody with recurring nightmares, but I would assume you can help that.
Oh, maybe what if I just have a conversation and said, "I sure you don't want to work with someone closer to home," you know?
I mean,
Like-
maybe, you know.
But he may have picked you for a reason, because if you think about this, he didn't want to talk to somebody that lives close to him about this, right?
True.
Either he wants to put it behind and never talk about it again, or he's going to be coming to terms with a big change in his life. So either way, he probably is looking for a safe stranger.
Could possibly be it.
I will look further and see if some of his claims seem to be legit or not. Like if there's any photos of him in Spain, and to find out where that guy is actually from. And if those pan out, then maybe I will message him, or I'll just message him and say, why don't you find someone closer to home, and see, if he seems genuine, or if I get a gut feeling that what, he's just.
If I could add one thing, I would say, I'm pretty expensive, and you might feel better off, working with somebody closer to home, and just see what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my gut also says the guy's probably just trying to get on get a little FaceTime with a female,
Yeah, it seems like a very elaborate ruse, but you're right. It could be anything on the internet.
But yeah, it maybe not. I don't know. Just whatever you do, approach it with caution.
So when I say, what does your gut tell you? You usually want to start off with my gut says, because then you're tapping in your unconscious mind. And we're trying to figure out, there's a connection usually that you can get better answers with. And then as you work your way through it, once you say my gut and then you stop saying my gut, then you're moving up to your heart. Your heart says, yeah, I really feel for this person, and I think I could probably help him. But your head says, oh shit, just take the money. Who cares what he does? And you're like, whoa, now we got a conflict going on here. But then you can make a better decision based on that. And usually most of my decisions, if I get 2 out of 3, I usually go with that. And it's a better way to than logically to do it, because logically sometimes takes you in a whole different way that you may not want to go in, just like we do with hypnosis.
Yeah, I try to look at it with new clients, because I don't see a lot, but it's like a hell yes or no. It's like, yeah, I'm really excited to work with this person, or no. Like if I have to talk myself into it, I'm not going to do it. But that's just where I'm at.
Speaking of being really excited to work with somebody and sports glasses, how's that Olympic hopeful doing? Is he bringing you some referrals?
He hasn't brought me any referrals, but we've done 2 sessions so far, and he mentioned interest in doing more. It looked like his trip to Tunisia got postponed, so he isn't going to go to his next shooting competition, but now he's looking at something in January, I believe. Wow. So I'll probably work with him at least one more time before the end of the year.
Good.
Any breakthroughs or anything you're working on specific?
The last time we worked on cleaning up, so at the end of the first session, he complained about still feeling upset about how he shot in his first, marksmanship test in the military like 20 years ago. So he was the best shooter in the class. And then on the certification day, he blew it and didn't shoot well. And so at the end of the first session, he brought that up, and it's, sort of underlies that the issue they present with isn't always the real issue. Right.
Yeah.
And so the last time we did a timeline, and worked on worked on his previous sort of thing, and asked him, asked his unconscious mind what he can take away from it, what'll serve him, and then what does he need to leave behind. So we kind of worked on that. So he seemed pretty happy with it.
And just what you do the test at the end, the tote, just to check to see, or do you do any future pacing?
We did future pacing. So we went back to the event, we looked at it, then came back to the present, we went back, looked at it, and then, worked on it. And then we went all the way to the future to, his next competition. And then past that, had him visualize himself in Paris in 2024. And then, sort of turning up the colors there, and those types of, timeline, kind of like a Tad James approach. And then, we looked back, and was there anything that he still felt like he needed to work on? And he said he was good. So periodically he'll send me little JPEGs of like targets he shot. And he's shooting a pretty close group, but his issue is he shoots great at home, like a world-class level, but in his last competition, he didn't perform well on the first day. So that's his big concern.
It always is.
And yeah, as humans, we're great time machines, aren't we? We're never in time. We're all over.
Yourself.
I started off the session using, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was going to do timeline therapy, and I started off using just the Omega as an induction. I wound it up and then handed it to him, and it's got a nice heft to it. So it ended up being like Mike Mandel's little shelf, but he just held it in his hand and got catalepsy, and then had him hold on to it and lower it down, and that kind of thing. So it was just a fun thing to do.
And they worry about a swinging pocket watch. No, it's when I put it in your hand, and your hand just begins to float there effortlessly.
Well, I was actually going to ask anybody. So, are there any sort of fun inductions you've done recently that are new and novel? I was thinking we see a lot of stuff in the media, right? About like what's that movie Get Out, where the therapist takes like a teacup and they're like rolling around the edge of the teacup, making like a kind of like a sound. I don't know. I almost want to do the Get Out induction just for fun. But does anybody have any new or novel inductions they're doing lately?
So I have one right now, and I've been working on it. I tested it out at a burger place with someone, and the results I got, and I've actually tested it quite a few other times. Are you familiar with bilateral stimulation?
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like that.
Okay, you can come in. Sorry.
And
go ahead.
And it actually might be good, because if you can get somebody, you can try it right now to see if you want. Since you have a person, maybe you want to ask her.
Not right now. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep. No, you're not.
No, but yeah, my wife keeps saying she wants me to hypnotize her to lose weight, eat more vegetables, and sleep better. And I'm like, it's got to be things you actually want to do.
So what you're doing is you have, like right now we're pretty much looking at each other, and you put your hands out, sort of like put them out like this, so you can see them. Yeah, with the camera. Now, normally when you're with a person, you have your hands to a point where they're on the side, right? And I just tell people, just stare and look at me in the eyes. And all I want you to do is and I want you to do it right now. Just kind of look at me in my eyes.
Okay.
But at the same time, I want you to wiggle your fingers. Right. And I want you to stay. Now, you notice how the hypnotic effect very quickly.
Yeah.
You start to, now what I want you to notice is it becomes almost like a tunnel effect. And I want you to continue to keep looking into my eyes only. And notice that it's starting to disappear around you. even though you can see my hands, you can also see my eyes. And you'll notice you slowly become aware, but not. It's in and out. So when you're in person, it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, I like that one.
And what happens is it gets your peripheral vision looking out here, but you're also focusing on your eyes. And I did it
Mhm.
twice, and it was super powerful. I mean, it was like it was the bilateral stimulation, because you're getting both sides of the hemisphere operating, so you're getting a whole brain effect.
Yeah, it was interesting because when I was looking at your eyes, I'm still seeing in my peripheral that, and then when I started doing it, instantly I felt my hands feel a little bit heavier and more noticeable, which was cool.
If you guys
I
want
see that working.
to all try it, I mean, just to see, put your hands up and then kind of focus right in front, and maybe look at in the screen and just notice how when you stay looking forward and you're wiggling your fingers, how it kind of puts you in a very quick trance very quickly. And then what happens is, as you just stay looking forward, okay, stay staring, and then what you'll notice is it starts to get tunnel vision. You're starting to get tunnel vision right now. You can see the object in front of you, but you can also now start to, you're like focusing in and out. Anybody getting that effect? Yeah.
So we need to change this induction from this
Yeah.
Yes,
to this, so it can be the zombie induction.
Yeah. It's much more impactful when you're in person.
Oh yeah, I can see how it would be.
And let me tell you, it's a very quick induction, because it's obviously right now I'm just talking to you about it. But if I did it to you live, everyone would see that the impact is.
There's a lot of built-in compliance to it.
There is.
I find that inductions with a lot of built-in compliance tend to work really well and really fast.
Yeah. And what happens is, you'll notice when it's live, I'm focused on one of your eyes,
Yeah.
and instantly I asked them, what's happening? And I said, you're starting to get tunnel vision, aren't you? And you can see their pupils actually getting smaller and bigger. It's really literally working, because their brain wants to focus on this, and their brain is trying to focus on your eye at the same time. And it's kind of going into that whole brain confusion state, like, oh shit, I don't know what to do.
and having them stare into your eyes, it's kind of got a hypnotic gaze just built in, right? So
Yes, on one eye, focus on just, you're going to focus on just one eye at the same time doing it. And you don't want to, you want to try not to blink, and you want to try not to look away at all. You're going to literally stay focused. And the more you're in a trance with them, the more they're going to go down quicker. And that's just more for, I don't know if stage would be really the appropriate place.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Tracy Kanan did a talk at Hypno Thoughts Live last year about sort of making up inductions on the fly.
Oh, I need to listen to that. I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting, in terms of using, the client's not habits, using their hobbies, what they're interested in.
Yeah, frames
put
of
them
reference.
into put them into that calm state. Imagine you're doing sewing or whatever it is, and using that to get them into trance.
So I went to a Les Brown training seminar, and I was learning how to speak in front of people. So what they do is they give you a little chore of 5 minutes. You got to pick a subject. You got to go up, talk about it. And mine was on destiny. I'm actually going to put the video out on Facebook. So I go behind the scenes, and I'm working with everybody in my group, because they were struggling to go up on stage because they were nervous. So I had them taking them back, sitting in a chair, and then trying to get their unconscious mind unwound. I did one of those samples where you start talking and you don't think. So I would get one in, sit there with them, go back out. And then this camera guy with real long hair and a beard and a mustache goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a hypnotist." And I said, conversational. And I I'm trying to help them unlock their unconscious mind. That's all bullshit. I'm like, okay. So I said, hang on a minute, excuse me. I said, I have to go over and talk to this guy. So I walk over and I said, how you doing? He said, good. He goes, you know what? I've had quite a few people and, it's all bullshit. And he says, I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. And, I think it's just another magic thing like those magic people do. I said, really? I said, what do you do for a hobby? He goes, I don't know. He says, I like to shoot a lot. And of course, he looks like the kind of guy would. And I said, so that's interesting. And I said, when you shoot, what happens? Do you like lose all track of what's going on around you? And are you really focused? And he goes, yeah. I said, let's pretend that you're on vacation and I need to go out and take your place. Could you show me how you do that? He goes, yeah, I could do that. So we're standing in the middle of the hallway. And I said, so what's first? And he said, well, you get your gun. I said, whoa. How do you hold it? And he goes, well, you pick it up. I said, is it a pistol? Is it a rifle? And he goes, no, it's a rifle. And I said, okay. I said, so what am I okay here? Well, you got to move your finger over a little bit. Okay. I said, you stand there so I can watch you while you're doing it, because I need to make sure that I can teach somebody else in case I go on vacation. He goes, okay. And I said, now, is my left hand okay? Yeah. I said, now, what are you doing now? And he says, well, I'm getting ready to aim. I said, okay, but is there a scope on this gun? Or is it just, oh yeah, there's a scope. I said, okay, so I want you, don't take your eyes off of me. I said, I'm going to watch you now. And I said, you just continue to keep doing what you're doing and talk out loud so I can follow along. He said, okay. And I said, now, as you're holding that gun, and he goes, yeah. And I said, do you put your finger? Yeah. He goes, yeah, you put your finger. And I'm watching him and I'm going, oh boy, he is in trouble. And I'm going, I go, now, is the gun kind of heavy to your left hand, or is it more you holding it to your right? And he goes, no, the gun's heavy on the left hand. I said, should I prop it up a little bit more? He goes, yeah. And I go, is there a target? And he goes, yeah. And I said, what's our target? He goes, oh, it's just a beer can for now. I said, okay. I said, now, I want you to just kind of go in your mind now. And I want you to focus like you did before, where it was just everything just kind of disappeared around you. But you were so focused. I mean, really focused. And and I didn't hear anything. I'm looking over and he's literally like this. And I go, that's right. There you go. And I put my gun down and I go, just keep focusing. Keep doing that. Just knowing that you can focus like you do now with that gun. Maybe the left hand or maybe the right hand. Or maybe you're just holding it the way you need to hold it. And he's like, and I just took a step back and I'm watching and I go, in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers and you're going to come back to the room. And he goes, oh, this is bullshit. He goes, this is bullshit. I
Talk
laughed.
about utilizing someone's hobbies, right?
And
Yeah. So that was
Well, and that's interesting. I didn't do it quite like that, but yeah, I find athletes go into trance really easily, especially when you do something like that, rehearsing either how they want to perform or looking at a performance where they performed exemplary. So yeah,
well,
it's
remember,
pretty-
he's done this a million times, so it was already set up for me.
And there is definitely a reason why those of us who go to the range on a regular basis refer to it as lead therapy. And I can guarantee you, when I'm dropping some cash and putting 100 or 200 rounds down range, that I'm 100% going into trance when I'm doing that.
Oh yeah.
It's got all the elements. You've got focus.
Yeah.
You've got breathing. You've got repetition with that particular activity. And
I learned that from Richard Bandler's class. He says, if you ever struggle with someone and they've never been hypnotized or they say they can't, he said, always just say to them, all right, well, say you do something that you've really been overly focused and you lose track of time and all this blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Say you're just say you're going to go on vacation or you're going to take a day off, or I would like to learn this, and then you do that because I was in Richard Smith Fast EFT in Oklahoma, and the guy came up to me at dinner time, and he said to me, "Hey, I hear you're conversational guy." He says, and a couple other people said you're really good at it. I can't be hypnotized. And I said, "Okay, so why are you coming to me?" And he says, "Well, because I heard that you're pretty good at it." I said, "Oh, I said, I just do it." But I said, "It's not that I'm great at it." And he goes, "Oh, well," he says, "I believe you can't do it to me." And I said, "Okay, no problem." I said, "I think you're going to be in trouble." He goes, "What?" Of course, I'm already setting him up. And I literally, we sat down, there was 30 people in the table, and the two people that knew me, they were smiling and laughing because they knew something was up. And I said, so tell me, something that you really do and you literally lose track of time. And his was driving. So I put him in a setting of a car and he was driving, and he would look at me and I would tell him, "Don't take your eyes off the road." And I literally did an arm levitation in the middle of the dining room table, or the I'm going to call it kitchen table, but it's not. It's the restaurant. And he's like this in the middle of everybody going like this. So utilizing, saying they're going to go on vacation, or they're, you want to be their protege, or you want to take the place of them doing it. Explain to me how you do it. It's very powerful. Sorry, took a little bit of time there. Oh, you're muted, Scott.
And Colin was just talking earlier about using that cloud induction before you got here. The one that Bob taught a little ways back, the 10-step thing. He used it at his shows this weekend and had or modified it a little bit, but had really good luck with it, he said.
Yeah. No, that was a killer one.
So when you're working with people, I know on stage you probably do the same inductions over and over again, but when the group works with people, do you do the same 3 or 4 inductions, or do you change it up, periodically?
So I was actually just trying to pull up a clip from a Steve Martin movie called Leap of Faith. Has anybody seen it? It's a bit
A long time ago. Yeah, I don't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they had a thing that they did, which let me just give you a little background. In Leap of Faith, Steve Martin was a traveling evangelist on a bus with all these people, go around find these small towns, put up a tent and hold a revival meeting. Okay. And it was a bit of a scam, shocker. But they did it. And so one of the things that they did on the bus is they would put these different words into a hat or phrases, and they would pull them out during his revival. I don't even want to call it a sermon, but his speech. And they would tell him that phrase in his earpiece. And he would have to work that into what he was telling the people who were there. And one of the things that they gave him was vinyl siding. And because he got it, he won this big pot of money that everybody had put in. And I've kind of felt like that's a great model for creating inductions, because the thing with inductions is that the words you use aren't really what it's about. The way you touch people, not really what it's about. It's about the process. Which direction do you go? And the model I use, either getting people 2 of the following 3 things true: calm, focused, and rapid intake of information, or combination of surprise and disruption of equilibrium if I'm doing a rapid. and I prefer the term surprise rather than shock, although there are certain people who are here a lot who think I'm a little bit rough with my volunteers when I do my rapids, but that's a different conversation for a different day. And so so absolutely, I'm all about, it's like if I'm I'm in front of a school and their mascot is the Lions, and there's a lot of athletes there, and they all happen to be football players. I've worked things like that into an induction before, just on the fly. If I know that that everybody has this one specific interest, work that into things. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's just knowing the process. You don't have to know induction.
No, I find myself, I do the same thing. And typically before I meet with somebody, I do the pre-talk, and then I'll jot down myself some notes and reminders of inductions I think I might like. And I probably have like 9 or 10 of them there, but then oftentimes I'll make one up, sort of in the session with them. On one of my last sessions, they mentioned something about the matrix. And so we did a bit of a matrix induction where, they imagine themselves getting plugged into the machine, and now we can download that program that you need, and it was just a fun thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why I like the induction that Bob did I guess it was about a month or so ago, with the number 10 is that A, super, super simple. And B, it lent itself to some modifications to make it more performing type environment friendly. And see, I felt how fast I dropped when he was doing that. It's like, okay. And then I pulled my son aside and tested it out a couple different ways, and it rocked his world. It's like, yeah. And so I tried it out Friday night, and it just killed. And so I used it night too.
I don't know that induction. I'll have to learn that one.
I'm getting it for you.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. It's less than a minute, so I'll get it for you.
Well, and
It's
I have one of Tracy's. I took her course at Hypno Thoughts, and one of the bonus videos is the improvisation video. So I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, this is if on my Facebook, I actually put that video up, just going through them.
Oh, cool.
Try and find it for you. And I'll do a screen share. Because I did, here we are. I did I gotta wait till I get to the beginning of it. I forgot something when we did it in the group, so I redid it in the video, and I made sure I got everything. So I'll just, as soon as, just give me a second, I'm gonna listen to it. You guys can hear that when I do that?
I'm hearing a click of a mouse, but nothing
Okay.
else.
You don't hear my voice?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Oh, but not playing through your computer now.
Okay. Just give me a second, I'll.
Well, he's looking that up. I don't have a favorite new induction I've been using, but my favorite induction is definitely the slap induction.
I don't know that one.
It's just a right hand. Yeah. It's a fractionation. Right hand down, left hand up.
Okay, I'm ready,
Just
Scott.
install it as a posting audit. Ready to share that?
Yeah, is that okay?
You should just be able to share it. Yeah, it's on. Like, just click share. Be sure you click share sound.
Okay, so
Talk
this,
about a good pause.
um,
Man.
And all the videos,
This
I
is
do
trash.
share them. Do you get them, James? Because I know we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah, I see them, but I didn't see this one. I saw the one where you told like a heartfelt story about a family member.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's about I have 40 now, about 40 or
Whoa.
41.
Yeah, I'll have
videos.
to. Cool.
Yeah, it
So I'll
doesn't
play-
take long once you start making stuff to get a stack of it up.
All right,
Yeah.
we ready? Here we go. Make sure the volume is hopefully up.
Do
Do you have trouble
there we
sleeping?
go.
Well, there's two different techniques you can do. One is just monitor your breathing before you go to sleep. Just follow it. More than likely, you'll fall asleep. If you don't, and you're one of those that has a hard time falling asleep, well, you can do the 10 down to 0 method. Basically, what you do is you take deep breaths, then you start to imagine a number 10, and you're drawing it. You're literally drawing out the number 10 in your mind. But as the end of that 10, as you're drawing it, you're saying, I'm going down on the number 10. Imagine a bar underneath it, and then let your mind just roam. It doesn't matter. Just relax and let it roam. Sit there. And then you go through each and every number, putting a bar underneath, taking a deep breath, and drawing the number 9 and going down. Each and every time you do that, you're going down. You'll most likely not going to get to 5. You'll be out. If you get to 0, you can imagine yourself on a plane, if you choose, and you can jump out of that plane, and there's a humongous pillow, and you fall in the pillow, and you go to sleep. Now, if you're afraid of heights, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I recommend following through.
Can you share a link to that? Like just grab the link up at the top there.
How do I do it up here?
Yeah, just
No,
grab that right there, copy it and drop it in the chat.
Yeah. It's
I like that
very,
one.
it's really powerful. I mean, I had a lady that had really bad insomnia, and I met her at one of my trainings, and I gave it to her, and she said she took 2 sleeping pills a night, one before she went to sleep, and then she'd wake up in the middle of the night and did it. And I told her, don't take any tonight and try this. And I said, believe it or not, you won't get past 5. I don't know anybody that can get past 5.
And if the sound is good, I will actually show next week the version I did on.
I love the fractionation
Awesome.
one.
It's like things
Totally.
I did differently were, first off, every number I had them open their eyes and close their eyes again for fractionation.
I like that.
And
It's the element.
and then I also was watching for when people were really getting deep fast, and I'd walk up to them. It's like, and my favorite line, person I'm touching right now, want you just open your eyes for me, shake my hand. Okay, and as you shake my hand, I want you to focus on the number sleep.
Love it.
Oh, that's good.
This one fairly high ranking individual, because there were no wireless devices allowed last night. And so I'm having to do this with a handheld and not a lav. Totally floored him. He was sprawled out like that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through that exercise, it's hard not to. I mean,
Yeah.
you really start to get. Well, you guys were all done after I did it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, you pulled the video up and I thought, man, I'm already tired. This is gonna do me in. And then it's like, oh, okay, he just explained it a little bit. I thought he was actually gonna do it. I'm like, nah, that's gonna do me in, man.
I have to sign off.
All right, Dave.
David,
Thank
I
you.
think we're probably
All right,
about to
Dave,
wrap
have a
up
good one.
anyway, so you hopefully won't miss too much. Yeah, I was actually up until about 4:30 last night working with somebody, so that was interesting, but I'm extremely tired, so
Yeah, I think I'll be calling it soon too.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Bob, is that an original thing of yours, the cloud thing, or did you grab that from somebody else, or?
I don't know, Scott. Honest, I can't. I've had so many different trainings and so
Well,
many
and
things.
that's how these things go anyways, you know. they
Yeah,
all
I
start
don't
to blend
know.
together.
Yeah, I don't know if I might have gotten pieces of that and kind of put it together myself, or if I got the whole thing and just I don't remember.
I think I'm
And
going
then
to use
there's
that.
also the entire aspect of the collective unconscious.
Yeah.
And that is that,
No
in
thoughts are
my
original.
world, we all already know all the
Are those your
inductions.
weed plants, Joe?
Say that again.
Are you showing us your farm
No,
there,
Joe.
Joe? Are those your weed plants?
Oh, no. Ah,
Just your
basil.
weeds, huh?
Basil. A little bit of
Yeah,
onion there.
basil. I've heard that one
Aloe.
before.
Holy basil.
The biggest reason why it makes such a big impact is because if you notice when we say let your mind drift, that's usually when you do sleep because you're letting it go and it's your mind just doing what it wants. And that's really where the power is.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'm
I've
going to use
had-
that induction to make a YouTube video myself.
Well, I've had people do the numbers before. Like I watched a lot of Burt Goldman videos, and he has you visualize the number. What I liked about it is you put the kinesthetic in it and had them imagine
Going
writing it in the
down.
down. That
Yes.
really seemed like a hook for me personally.
And the bars underneath.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, you don't, because a lot of people want to skip to the next one. Well, then you're thinking. So you're supposed to set the bars there so your unconscious mind relaxes and your
And
conscious mind.
the other thing that's powerful when we're using numbers and getting people focused on the numbers is it is very, very difficult to overthink a number because numbers are some of the truly only finite, some of the very few finite objects that exist in the universe are numbers. There's only so much that you can think about the number 9, other than the number 9.
9 times.
So if they're thinking about the number 8, they're not thinking about the letter they got from the IRS this week. They're not thinking about the argument they just had with their significant other. They're thinking about the number 8. And so that's another reason why it's so powerful.
And the way you say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you just say number 9, yeah, it's
Right.
no big deal.
There's a big difference between that and the number 9.
Oof, yes.
9. 9 times.
And now the number 8.
And now
That's
the
right.
number sleep.
Yeah, when they're waiting for me to say the number 7,
And that's hesitation.
and I go up to somebody, person I'm touching right now, why don't you just open your eyes for me?
I love it.
Focus on the number sleep.
Sleep.
I'm starting to yawn a lot. I'm just like,
Yeah, no, it's like literally instead of 30 to 50% of my volunteers going really deep, it's like I ended up these 5 shows this weekend, 80 to 90%.
That's awesome.
That is great.
And so it's like, now there's a lot of factors that go into all of that, but no,
Yeah.
hey, there was something going on.
That's awesome. That is great. Wow.
it's good to see everybody. I got to bounce.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking on that note,
Me
we
too.
might just call
Right.
it a night.
Too.
All right, everyone.
Bounce
You
out
Great
of
guys
here.
night.
Good one.
Glad to see you
Thank you.
pop in for a
Night,
second, Joe.
everyone.
Sorry, you popped in.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, let's get out of here.
I just barely finally got home. I was listening to y'all while I was driving. And
Yeah.
then I was
Yeah.
stepping in when you guys putting them plants there.
All right.
But
Sounds
All
good.
right.
We'll see everybody next week.
Have a great night. Take care.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
take care.
Get well, Sean.
Where am I at? Okay, here we go.